going on? What's going on? How is everybody doing tonight? Get my crown right. Hope everyone is having an awesome night. Hope you had an awesome day. And so today we are going to talk about shooting stars. What they mean, what it could mean for you, and how to decode them. Whenever you see one, not necessarily decode the stars, but whenever you see one. So, alright, so yes, shooting stars and spiritual signs. Living in a constant communion with the divine. Bars. Mic drop. Alright, so this is what we're going to do when we come in this thing. We're going to ground ourselves. I want everybody to take some breaths in your nose, out your mouth. We're going to create this sacred space. Going to ground, going to get settled in, and if you're joining me, you want to learn more, email us at spiritual elevated life forms with an S at gmail.com. So, I want to share something with you today. You know, this isn't information, it's a transmission, right? Let me square up with this camera. Notice what resonates, what unlocks something in you, and what feels like spirit talking to you directly. So, all the time, I see shooting stars, not once in a while, all the time. And so, you know, we've heard a lot of things about shooting stars. So, you know, it became so normal to me that I had to stop and ask myself, why is this happening? What message is trying to come through to me? What's going on, Bryson? Thanks for liking it. Talking about shooting stars. Hope you enjoy the presentation. And that's what we're gonna dive into. What it means when the signs stop being rare and start meeting you every day. You know, when the veil gets thin and you're living in an active conversation with the divine source, higher self, the ancestors, God, whatever you choose to name it. But before we go deeper, tell me what recurring signs that you see every day, whether it be animals, a song, dreams, numbers, whatever pops in your mind. Give you a few seconds to answer that. Dang, don't have my water. Give me 1 second. Let me go grab my juice. Sorry, should have been more prepared. Should have had the water already ready. So nobody's had any recurring themes, not seeing angel numbers constantly, not hearing that one song on the radio. It's fine if you don't. But let's get into this. So spiritual awakening, it doesn't, it's not a one and done. You don't just have one in your life and then it goes away, right? It's a series of shifts, layer after layer after layer. You shed, rise, and expand. And with each shift, the signs intensifies more. This is what's called synchronicity stacks. You know, what used to feel unusual becomes consistent, right? That's what happens with me with these shooting stars. You know, at first feels all magical. Ooh, ah, right? You know, we've been told you see a shooting star, make a wish. I did that. Feel the connection for a little minute. Then it started to become more frequent, right? That's when I realized this isn't random. This isn't no, what's going on? This isn't random. This is resonance. Hey, Catherine. And here's the truth. Signs increase when your frequency increases, right? You've done the inner work, cleared out old noise, and now you can perceive what was always there. It's like tuning a radio, right? Lower frequency, you get static. But as you heal, as you align and expand, the signal gets clearer, right? Spirit suddenly starts to speak. Well, it's always spoke. You just starts to hear it, right? So, yeah. So ask yourself right now, are you noticing more synchronicities lately? Like I said earlier, are you hearing a song that constantly comes on? Angel numbers, spirit animals. You think of something, you see an animal. You think of something else, you see an animal. You know, things like that. Drop a yes if things been lining up more than usual, because we have explanations for that, right? You're in a shift. That's why that inner voice gets louder. That's why your gut feeling becomes more noticeable, right? When signs become your normal, you stop searching for confirmation and start living in communion, right? It's like you move knowing that you're supported. So let's go a little bit deeper. I want you to close your eyes. First exercise of the stream. If you're able to, I want you out there on the road behind the wheel, closing your eyes and shit. Veer off the road and hurt yourself or somebody else. But if you're able to, close your eyes and ask yourself, ask the spirit, what signs have you been sending me that I haven't noticed? You might get something immediately. It might take a couple of days for the signal to return to you. Now, just pay attention over the next couple of days. Now, what these shooting stars really mean. Excuse me. Through the spiritual lens, they're messages and guidance in one aspect. And in this aspect, shooting stars appear when your spirit wants your attention, soul wants your attention, universe, ancestors, whoever, higher power is trying to get your attention. The veil is thin. Something is trying to come through. Right? In another aspect, it's a manifestation window. Right? Wishing on these stars isn't, old folklore, old wives' tales and things of that nature. It's an energetic opening, a moment when intention meets cosmic momentum, right? You get these signs and you just feel like, dang, I need to be doing X, Y, or Z. And then you get that sudden urge to do something. Ain't nothing wrong with doing something. Do it, right? What's going on, Gallup? Another aspect is transformation, right? A burst of light. This is when we're looking at it in the physical. You'll see it for like all of 5 seconds, if that long, right? Burst of light, then it's gone, right? That symbolizes release, endings, rebirth, sort of like the number 9, right? Another aspect is divine timing, right? We've all heard the phrase, it's going to happen when the time is right. When the time is right, you're going to get this. When the time is right, you're going to get that, right? Divine timing, ancestral presence. Now, some cultures, some ancient cultures, traditions see shooting stars as your ancestors, your guides, sending confirmation, right? Whatever you was thinking at that moment, that star was the sign or confirmation, message, message. But here's the important part that a lot of people miss. The universe speaks to you in your language, in your language. It speaks to you in your language, you in your language, you in your, these two in their languages, in their own individual languages, in me, in my own individual language. Depending on where your frequency is, depends on the language that it speaks. No matter if you're vibrating low or vibrating high, right? Because the universe don't discriminate. It got your back, remember? It's a mirror. Whatever you believe, then that's what it is. Now, for those coming through, drop a sign, drop something that you've been seeing recently, and we'll walk through on how to decode it. Right? It's a universal formula, but you get your own answer. But anyway, so been seeing nines. I've been seeing stars, shooting stars. Like, like no bullshit. I see shooting stars like 3 to 4 times a month, like back to back to back to back back. You've been seeing 6 and 1s. 444 is your stalker number. We're gonna get into how to decode this. And what we're doing, we are just decoding your own spiritual language with the universal formula for everybody to use. First thing we need to do, track the pattern. Whenever you see these numbers, in my case, stars shooting across the sky, in other people's cases, songs maybe, animals, a certain word that may pop up, that may be following you throughout the day. What were you thinking about? And y'all can write these down. What were you thinking about right before you saw that number or that star or heard the song or whatever? Whatever your recurring sign is, what were you thinking about the moment before you saw it? What emotion was you feeling at that moment? What guidance have you been asking for? What area of life feels uncertain? You can ask yourself those questions. The meaning hides right in that moment. This is where being present will really help you. Really help you, right? We can cross-reference. We can use divinations, numerology, astrology, your intuition, dreams, body sensations. When multiple systems point to the same message, it's not a coincidence, right? If you know me, you know that I don't believe in coincidences. It's confirmation. It's alignment. It's synchronicity, right? We got to learn to trust. These are our key points. Trust. Trust your intuition. Knows what the fuck it's feeling. Knows what it's talking about. Knows what area to lead you in. Don't get so wrapped up in being human that you try to control shit. 333, see, there you go. What were you, now let's track that in real time. What were you thinking about? Right? Whatever you was thinking about, like I said, it lies in that moment. What body sensation did you get? What emotion were you feeling at that moment? Right? Your intuition recognized the divine communication way before your physical mind does. Don't let doubt drive. Don't let doubt override knowing, because your intuition knows all the time. Another thing we must do, we got to do the work. A lot of people want to talk about growing and elevating and ascending to the next level until it's time to grow, elevate, and ascend to the next level, right? That just be those people just out there just running their mouth. They want, it sounds cool. It looks cool when such and such do it. It sounds good when your favorite YouTuber says it, or your favorite influencer. Scared of heights? Well, hey, that's a big reason why people don't want to grow, because growing means getting larger, right? Elevating, ascending means going higher. And a lot of people don't like heights, right? But how do we get over a fear? We got to jump into it. We have to face it, right? We got to do the inner work, right? The cleaner the vessel, the clearer the message, right? If you've been on the path, the journey of healing and aligning, of course your signs are going to intensify. You're becoming a clearer receiver, and there's nothing wrong with that. A hater gonna find something wrong with it. A person who's not doing the work is gonna find something wrong with it. A person is always gonna find something wrong with what you're doing if they're not doing it. Fuck them. Now, another exercise, right? Oh yeah, we class participation over here, right? So think of the last time you saw your recurring sign. What was happening? What were you asking for? What did your body feel? Sit with whatever rises, whatever comes, just sit with it. Don't judge it. Don't overanalyze it. Just sit with it. And if you want to share it with the chat, be my guest. But whatever those answers are, that's you learning your language. That's the point, right? We have to learn ourselves, right? I got this 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 friend of mine. He says, know thyself and balance your energy, right? But the key phrase is know yourself. You're not going to learn yourself nor know yourself if you're all over the place. If your radio is not on a clear station, if you are not doing the inner work, if you are not trusting your intuition, if you're not cross-referencing your signs, if you're not tracking your patterns, right? Decoding your spiritual language, track the pattern, cross-reference, trust your intuition, do the inner work, right? And so when these signs become more constant, when you start seeing them on a regular basis, something inside you shifts. That's when shift starts to happen, right? The shift hits the fan or the ship hits the water, right? We have to stop chasing validation, right? That's when that shift happens on the inside. You stop chasing validation. Just by you existing is all the validity you need. Is all the validation you need. Just you existing in itself is valid enough. Right? You move with quiet certainty. Like Lil Wayne said, real G's move in silence like lasagna. Right? Because you feel the alignment. Right? That's where, pretty much that's where I live right now. Constant synchronicity. I'll be studying something or working on something here, and then next thing you know, I'm in conversation with somebody and they say a word that popped out to me over here. Then the next thing you know, a couple hours later, I hear that word again. Right? Constant synchronicity, constant confirmation, teaching, creating, building school, building self, right? It all feels like soul food, not that bullshit we was taught that grandma cook every Sunday, but real live soul food, right? Real live soul truth. Not because it's easy, but because it resonates, right? When you walk in purpose, You don't have to push. You don't have to beg. You don't have to pull. You just be. You just walk, right? You don't market yourself into exhaustion, right? Selling yourself short, right? We don't need to do none of that. Though marketing yourself helps, because if you don't market yourself, who else is going to do it, right? You don't beg for alignment. That automatically shows doubt to the universe, and guess what? You're not going to get it, right? You become magnetic. You become a magnet. Your law of attraction starts to show up, right? There's no need to chase anything if you draw everything to you. You don't see magnets on the side of the street with a fucking, what they call it, a megaphone. Right? And for those, right? So I'm building this mystery school self. Launch date is in 10 days, right? And the people that are meant for the school, they'll show up, right? They will feel my energy and gravitate my way, right? And if you're interested in joining the school, um, email us at spiritual elevated life forms at gmail.com. The opportunities meant for you will open. The path meant for you will reveal itself. Spirit speaks through resonance, not through hoping, not through wishing, not through begging. Right? The shooting stars I see, it's like it's like a it's like my confirmation choir. Every time I see a star, they're singing, you are in the right spot. Keep it moving. Don't give up. Keep going. We got you. But in all actuality, that's me saying, hey, I got me. With a healthy mindset, with a focus on the goal, with a clear vision, I'm ready to receive whatever my higher self has for me now. And it doesn't matter who doesn't like it. It doesn't matter who like it. Only thing that matters is I stay on my path, right? The only thing that matters is that I don't lose track of time. Right? Only thing that matters is if I keep going, or not for that matter. Right? And the same for y'all. Whatever recurring event or signs you see, that's your confirmation choir. For those that said they see the nines, the fours, 6-1, whatever your recurring sign is, that's your choir. And you just have to be aware enough to notice those signs. Be aware enough to ask yourself the necessary questions when those signs pop up, right? And so, if you don't feel like doing the work, so be it. If you feel like doing the work, so be it. So be whatever it is that's on your mental. If it resonates with you, if you want to give up, give up. If you don't want to give up, keep it moving. Stomp with the big dogs in your big shoes, right? You got to stand on that shit. Work, smirk. Some people smirk at the word work, right? But, you know, we got tons of signs that hits us every day. Now, this doesn't mean you got to be present in the moment from the time you open your eyelids in the beginning, the start of your day, until you close your eyelids at the end of your night. It's almost impossible to be present every moment of the day. You're going to slip into autopilot. You're just going to. There's no getting around that. But it's okay, right? Because that's what this human experience come with. Now, a lot of people get comfortable in autopilot and they don't do anything besides sit on the passenger side while their ego drive and their intuition in the back seat, if it's even in the car at all, right? Is this resonating to all of the four people that's here? Like, is this resonating with your sign that you're seeing constantly? Good. Glad that it is resonating. I got a question for all those it's resonating with. Out of everything that you're going through in your spiritual journey, what's confirming that you're on the right path right now? I want to hear from you. I want to hear what's going on in your path. Because every time I come on here, I'm an open book. I share a piece of my journey from this live to the last live to the live before that. And what's confirming for me that I'm on the right path? It's basically when I'm outside in thought or maybe in conversation with the neighbor and we be in a deep conversation and we're on some spiritual, elevated conversations or topics. And I'll get to, whether I'm by myself or with the neighbor, I get to thinking about my own personal path and self, the school, the mystery school. And I think of like, what lessons should I put in the next quarter curriculum? Yeah, in the next quarter curriculum. And then I'll have a thought of what it should be or how I should go about doing it. Then here comes that star, right? These doggone stars and these numbers, gotta love them. I definitely see more repeating numbers when I'm in the zone. And that's usually when we're focused, right? And we are paying attention to whatever it is we're engaged in. And so when we are engaged in whatever it is we're focused on in the zone, that's usually when we notice the signs. Because like the signs are constantly being presented, moment after moment, minute after minute, right? It's just we're not always aware enough to pick up on them. And so that's where the real work comes in at, right? Not just noticing the numbers. Like if you're into numerology and you know what angel number 111 means, it's more than knowing what the number means, right? We have to go through those necessary steps that I said earlier, right? What pattern is going on, right? We got to cross-reference what was going on. We got to trust the intuition, right? And most importantly, we got to do the work. We got to do the work. There's that word again, work. Now, I done said that a lot of times this live, the word work. That may be something that is a message for me right now. Is it? Could be. We'll see when I get off this thing if I need to do some work. But I do need to do some work. Got a big day ahead of me tomorrow. So, when if your signs have been increasing more and more, here's why. You're approaching a threshold because a new version of you is trying to emerge, right? A veil is thinning And you're starting to notice more things about life, your life, society, reality. Things may be going down at your job. Whatever it is, it's becoming more clearer to you. Maybe it's time for you to leave your job. Maybe it's time for you to get out of that relationship that no longer serves you, whether it's platonic or romantic. And the more you elevate, it doesn't mean that you're going to cut people off, but you're no longer at a matching frequency. So therefore, it's like they cut themselves off. They're no longer going to come around you. You won't be able to occupy that same space. And it's fine if you don't. It's okay. What they say, it's a reason for the season, right? You know, some people are in your lives just for a season. Maybe one season, maybe two. Some people you meet in your life will be around you until one of y'all check out physically. When your spirit wants attention, it gets louder. You're not going to be able to ignore it. Right? It'll be so loud, you'll hear that inner voice, and it sounds like somebody's sitting right here on the side of you just said it. Right? Yep, that's happened. Rejection is protection. Yeah. And so, it could be protecting you from anything. The protection can come in many men. Nah, but it can it can wear many faces, right? It could happen through an unpleasant event. You and your best friend of 20 some years get into an argument so bad that y'all forget each other's numbers and y'all say some shit like, if I never see them again, it'll be too soon. Like, damn, like, shit. Right? And so, we gotta understand that no matter how much we like this person, no matter the connection to this person, no matter the relationship to that person, it could be a blood relative. Just because y'all share the same blood, share the same last name, it don't mean that y'all are meant to be in each other's spaces this lifetime. You learn what you need to learn from them. They learn what they need to learn from you. And then you might go your separate ways. Who knows? You might come back together later. You never know. Maybe that falling out was a seed being planted. Maybe you needed to hear something that you was just too stubborn to hear. Maybe they needed to hear something that they was just too stubborn to hear, but the lesson may not hit them right then, or they may not get the point right then. It may be days, weeks, months, years later. Only depends on your true journey. So when your spirit wants your attention, it gets louder. Don't minimize this moment. Honor that moment. Stay grounded. Stay open. Keep doing the work because something is about to happen. Something is unfolding that is going to do a great service to you. It's going to be so awesome that you will probably think, damn, what was that? Why hasn't this happened before now? Why am I just now getting this? The timing wasn't right, right? Divine timing. Now, we got some homework. If you're watching this on the playback, if you're watching this live, this applies to both of you. Grab you a pen and paper if you haven't done so already. I want you to write these reflection questions down. This is your homework. I want you to work on this throughout the next week. The next strong. I don't like saying weak. Because ain't nothing weak about a growing soul. But I get it. You know, society has done a number on these words. You know, we barely can say anything now without it internally damaging us. First question. What signs keep showing up? And what were you thinking the last 3 times it appeared? What signs keep showing up? And what were you thinking the last 3 times it appeared? Give y'all a few moments to write that down. While you do so, I'm gonna take me another sip of my go-go juice. It's just water. If Spirit was sending a message through that sign, what's the first interpretation that comes to you? If Spirit was sending a message through that sign, what was the first interpretation that comes to you? What inner work will you commit to this strong week, the next 7 days? See, even the word days, right? Now, who in the days now? inner work will you commit to this strong to clear your channel? And I said strong to not say the word weak. I don't care that it's spelled differently. It doesn't matter. I only got 3 questions for you. That was it. Journal these. Let them open you up. Pay attention to the signs when they come. If you can, ask yourself those questions. What were you thinking at that moment? What was going on in the back of your mind? What were you asking universe to show you, to give you? You might get a sign that you don't need it, right? But that sign that you don't need it will come when an obstacle or a hurdle shows up. And that obstacle or hurdle isn't a punishment, right? It's a way to test, to see if this is what you really want. If you don't want it, you're gonna be like, oh hell nah. Like I am astrology readers just said no, abort. Abort mission. Houston, we have a problem. Right? And so whenever your sign shows up, don't just notice it or look at it and then go on about your business, because it's a reason that it showed up when it showed up. You could have been asking for something. You could have been thinking about something. You could have been thinking about someone. Fun fact, if you just think about someone just randomly out of nowhere, chances are, big chances are, that they were thinking about you or are thinking about you as well. If you get to seeing something, signs, and it's pointing back to an event or a person, well, it was a lesson that needed to be learned in that event. If it was a person, chances are that they're thinking about you, and it was something that you probably needed to learn from them that you didn't learn from them, or vice versa. So, let's do one more grounding exercise before we get out of here. We're going to do a deep inhale. We're going to hold it, and we're going to release. All for 4 seconds. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds. And we're going to do this 4 times. 4, 4, 4. 4, 4, 4. 4, 4, 4, 4. So whoever was out there seeing all them 4s, this is for you. Hey, look at here. We got 4 viewers and 4 likes. Real-time synchronicity. So, on the count of 4, we're going to begin. 1, 2, I lost count, so we're going to get one more time. Thank y'all for joining this live. Thank you for choosing growth over being stagnant. Thank you for listening to the whispers of your soul. Your signs are speaking. Hope you're listening. Your path is opening. Your spirit, soul, higher self is guiding you every step of the way. Thank y'all for joining me. And remember, you're all stars, so shine like one.